How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the one trade that I took on QQQ. This was a trade from yesterday, Friday, February 23rd. I forgot to make my video, so we're going to go back and review this nonetheless. We're on the daily time frame. You can see we opened up all-time highs. We pushed up a little bit and sold off. Still in an uptrend as we continue to make higher highs and higher lows. We can take a look at some of the zones I was watching. So with this, we were opening above all-time highs, so we had no levels to the upside. The one level that we did have was the pre-market high around 490 or 439.8, almost about 440. We had the previous day, so last Thursday's high a day around 439, and the low a day around 433.7. And then we had a pre-market low here at 437.15. Additionally, we had this zone that was kind of the previous all-time high, a zone that we touched twice here between about 438.8 and 439. And then the next zone that came into play was this 436.23 to 436.5 or so. That was an area that we had rejected off of way back a couple weeks ago. Found support the next day before making that all-time high, and then in the day prior to Friday, so Thursday, an area that we kind of rejected off of and then found support in the after hours. Those were the zones we were watching. Basically, game plan coming into the day was we were opening up above all-time highs. We wanted to see either a pullback into the previous day high and continue, a break and retest and continuation of the pre-market high if we were to stay bullish, or if we broke down and we didn't hold either of those levels, breakdown and retests of these zones, so including this all-time high zone, this zone down here, the pre-market low. You can see that we started the day off looking like we were on continue. We broke above pre-market high, set an all-time high, pulled back, didn't really hold on to that pre-market high. We kind of sold through it. So no trades here. I was watching for a pullback for a potential hold and continuation. But you see that we broke through pretty confidently, closed below that level, weren't looking too strong with that massive bearish engulfing candle. So held out. We continued to kind of sell off. We looked like we were trying to hold that previous all-time high a little bit, but continued to sell lower. And this is where I started to watch for an entry. So we were looking weak on the day. We were in a downtrend. And I noticed that we were forming a bit of a bear flag. If I can draw this, I don't know why it's not letting me. But we had a bit of a bear flag here, right? We had this big sell-off. We had a bit of a consolidation where we were making lower highs, right? We were failing to close higher. We were making higher lows, forming a bear flag. It was really evident on the 1 minute chart, so we can switch over to that and take a look, and this will give a little bit of insight into where I entered and exited. So with this all-time high zone, when we're above it, we're looking for it to hold as demand. Once we break below it, we're looking for it to act as supply. So the opposite, right? Support and resistance, support turned resistance. So we broke down and we were looking pretty weak, right? We were failing to make higher highs. We were making actually lower highs. You can even draw potentially like this trend line here where we're making lower highs there and consolidating. And I drew this support that we had here looking like we had a bit of a bear flag. We broke through that flag on increasing volume. You see that big jump in volume as we broke down. And as we came up in here to kind of retest, this is where I entered. I think actually my trend line was somewhere like that, I think is more accurate. But we had this flag. Once we broke below on increasing volume, made a lower low on the day, came up to retest. I waited for this 1 minute candle to retest and look sort of weak. We also had that 439 whole number. I like whole numbers for levels to target. So came up, looked weak, printed another 1 minute candle, failed to go any higher than the previous. So at this point I entered two puts. I took 437 puts. So $2 out of the money. Reason being, trading with a small account and looking to get a couple of contracts here. Also, if you get a quick break or a quick move, some of these out of the money contracts can move really fast, 50, 40% in a matter of minutes. So once we came up and got the retest of that broken support, took puts here. I trimmed one when we broke down for about like 15% or so. Reason being we had bounced from this area, so I took one around here, took one off and then let the other run. The other I sold when we broke low a day. So on this candle here, once we broke low a day, I sold out and completely exited my position. You can see that this demand zone turned supply. Each time we kind of wicked up into it, we sold off. So would have been a nice trade to hold a runner. As you can see, we kind of never made any higher highs. We continued to make lower highs, and we sold all the way down into this next zone. At this point, those contracts were up about 300%. So I think that's something that I can get into the habit of doing, is potentially holding longer. But I was really happy with that trade. It was, got in around 438.9 or so up in here. Sold out around 438.15, so about an 80-cent move, almost $1. I'll take that any day of the week. That's a really nice trade. We can talk about my stop loss. So my target was low a day. Stop loss was if we broke above this like 439.1, so previous all-time high. Reason being, you can see that each time we kind of got up in here, we were rejecting. So if we continued to break up and look strong, that would have stopped me out there. So risking about maybe 15 cents of risk to about like 80 cents or so of reward. So pretty solid risk to reward there, and that's a trade that I was happy to take. Rest of the day kind of came down, held this zone, came up, reclaimed that pre-market low. Almost made it back up to the zone, but not quite. Back to the pre-market low, and then from there, just a bit more of horizontal action. That was my only trade on the day, and I was happy to kind of play it patiently, wait for things to play out, establish a trend, look for that flag break and retest, and that gave me a really nice risk to reward for that setup. So we can also look at another thing on the 5-minute. We also had the 9 EMA there, so if you watch, you're familiar. I chart with the 5 EMA. I use the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart is what I'm trying to say. And I really like it for trending markets. So you can also see here when we had that break, we came up and we were retesting that 9 EMA. So a lot of things kind of acting together here to give me confidence in this trade. So that's what I was watching. Like I said, I think I could do a little better in terms of holding runners or holding winners. Usually I'm only trading 1 to 2 contracts. So sometimes that's not really possible. But in this case, the fact that we maintained below that 9 EMA and never really broke above it, and had the potential for over 200% win there. So happy with the trade. Something to consider for future trades is to watch for this continuation and allow runners to really run and get those bigger wins. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching. I do trade live Monday through Friday, so I'll be here next week trading. If you want to stop by, hang out, please do. Love to have you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Peace.